So the data ecosystem is basically how all the different elements within the city who are producing data, the extent to which they're connected up and the extent to which they work together and the extent to which there are relationships between them. So you can have quite dysfunctional data ecosystems, like the Boston Metropolitan example is a good one. It's a dysfunctional data ecosystem. It functions very well inside each municipality, but across the municipalities, it's a disaster. So, you kind of need them. And the reason why you need a good functioning one, I mean, there's a number of reasons, right? So one is kind of political around transparency and accountability and kind of knowing what's kind of happening within the city. So the data kind of gives you information about what's going on and so on. It's useful for things like data-driven policy. So, I mean, one of the, the example I always give is like Ireland had a massive financial crash here, 10 years ago, not off the subprime like in many other countries, but actually a kind of homegrown one built off of overdevelopment of property. And one of the reasons that happened is because we weren't doing data-driven evidence. What we were doing was anecdotal kind of clientelist kind of planning and development, and rather than based off the evidence. And we overdeveloped. We built too many houses in the wrong places, and we had a collapse. So data-driven evidence is important. I mean, at the same time, you'll know from my work, I'm very critical of these dashboards, very critical of the data behind them, because they only tell you a certain picture. They don't tell you the whole thing because you only have certain indicators. So it needs to be put in the context of wider information and wider knowledge and wider experience and so on. If you don't want things like back-to-back planning, you don't want fragmented governance, then the data is useful for connecting across silos, connecting across municipalities and departments, connecting across and giving you a shared picture of what's kind of going on. And that potentially helps you create a more sustainable city, right? And it's potentially helps stop wasting of resources and will give you efficiencies in terms of how you spend your money, how you coordinate policy, how you link up infrastructure schemes, how you plan and so on. So that's the logic